Psalm 53 is a reflection on the universal nature of human depravity and the consequences of turning away from God. The psalmist begins by declaring that the fool has said in his heart, "There is no God." He describes the corruption and moral decay that result from this rejection of God's authority, asserting that all people have turned away from God and become corrupt in their ways. The psalmist reflects on the actions of the wicked, describing their oppression of God's people and their lack of understanding. He portrays them as devouring God's people like bread and failing to call upon the Lord in times of trouble. Despite their temporary prosperity, the psalmist affirms that God will ultimately bring judgment upon them. In the midst of his reflection, the psalmist contrasts the fate of the righteous with that of the wicked. He affirms his trust in God's deliverance and expresses confidence that the righteous will see the downfall of the wicked and will take refuge in God's presence. The psalm concludes with a call to praise and worship God. The psalmist affirms his trust in God's salvation and expresses his gratitude for his deliverance. He resolves to continue praising God and declaring his righteousness to all who fear him. Psalm 53 serves as a sobering reminder of the consequences of rejecting God and turning away from his ways, inspiring readers to trust in God's salvation and to seek refuge in his presence. Let's now read Psalms chapter 53. To the chief musician upon Mahalath, Maskil, a psalm of David, the fool hath said in his heart, "There is no God." Corrupt are they, and have done abominable iniquity, there is none that doeth good. God looked down from heaven upon the children of men, to see if there were any that did understand, that did seek God. Every one of them is gone back, they are altogether become filthy, there is none that doeth good, no, not one. Have the workers of iniquity no knowledge? Who eat up my people as they eat bread, they have not called upon God. There were they in great fear, where no fear was, for God hath scattered the bones of him that encampeth against thee, thou hast put them to shame, because God hath despised them. Oh, that the salvation of Israel were come out of Zion. When God bringeth back the captivity of his people, Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad. This ends our reading of Psalms chapter 53.